Sim racers, welcome to the eRacing Association, where you have the chance to win $5,000 in one of the best tournaments in all of sim racing. Green flag in the air.
Are you ready to reach the next level of sim racing? The eRacing Association's epic Omega Cup Series lets you win big.
Is he gonna throw the block?
Racing with ERA lets you compete for huge cash prizes, get exclusive merch, exclusive sim hardware pricing, and potentially turn your virtual dreams into reality. Feel the rush as you race door to door against sim racers just like yourself, all from the comfort of your own home.
Straight away, they're into the they're wrecking! They're wrecking!
Join now to get your membership and experience all of the excitement that the eRacing Association has to offer at www.eragaming.gg.
Celebration, he hangs on!
Oh my God! Son, this is a Navy base, not a playground.
Sir, have a look.
So you think you got what it takes to fly with the Navy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll give you one shot. Bring him in.
Hey, can I get another cocktail?
Gentlemen, you are here because NASCAR wants you to have a street race on this base.
Hey, this is pretty sick, huh?
Oh, you think this is sick? If you want to race here, you got to show honor, courage, and commitment. You boys think you know speed? You haven't felt real speed. They're gonna flip you. They're gonna twist you. And just when you think you've reached your limit, they're gonna punch a hole in the sky and drag you with them.
Hey, Clyde, you gonna do stuff with that pilot shit? Can't be any worse than you're driving. Sick bird, Peaches.
Speaking of sick,
The Burning Carpenter's not gonna like that. Hey, boys, I feel the need. I feel the need. Seriously, guys. Need for speed. Speed. Does this thing go any faster? Hell yeah, boy.
Not bad up there, gentlemen. But let's see how you handle this next mission. This is NASCAR street course, and that is the Navy security force. You make it to the finish line without getting caught, and you have my respect.
look at this turn right
We need to split up.
Let's just steal one of these f***ing helicopters over here.
Dude, we're so done.
We're screwed.
Thinking what I'm thinking?
Yeah. Why did we not bring SVG? Guys, I got an idea. Lights on! You think we can outrun them? It ain't the car, it's the driver. Man, this course is sick. Boys, we're almost to the finish line. We got him! We lost him! We got him!
Gentlemen, we set the standard, and you matched it. And I am pleased to say that you belong here with us on this sacred ground.
Let's get to work on bringing NASCAR to the Navy.
This is what this sport's all about right here. Big moments like this.
That was a dangerous shot.
The gate opens, all bets are off, and you better react. Like this is a picture-perfect driving.
This is what makes the difference.
Well, there you have it! This crowd just got to witness greatness! And he can hear you right now. Let's go! Oh my God!
I'm just in awe at how good the guys are riding. We are being treated to the best bull riding you want to watch right here.
Hey guys, I'm IndyNXT champion Dennis Hauger, and you're watching Drafting the Circuits.
And it was a do-or-die race today from the Martinsville Speedway for NASCAR Cup Series drivers looking to advance to the championship. Sports director Jermaine Farrell caught up with the winner of the NASCAR Cup Series Xfinity 500.
I tell you one thing, doing it in style, knowing you need a win to get into the championship 4 in Phoenix, and Mr. William Byron, you are Phoenix bound. First of all, what does that feel like?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's incredible, really. I mean, just the team effort that it takes, and then just kind of gritting our teeth in today and being there with the shot at the end of the race. You know, we positioned ourselves all day, and it feels amazing.
You led 304 laps. You won the first stage, second stage, you won the pole. You were kind of cool with the pole, but then, I mean, you just pretty much dominated, but in the end, you still had to gut out and get that win.
Yeah, I mean, us and the 12 and Ryan were really evenly matched, so it was just a kind of a game of, you know, when we could get to lap traffic and who would get through lap traffic a little bit better. So it was, cat and mouse game for sure, but it was definitely, I don't know, it was fun. It was fun racing with him, and it was fun to be able to, work lap traffic and just all the challenges that came with that.
And now you're moving on to Phoenix, which is pretty big, obviously. Win that race or finish as well as you can, you'll be a NASCAR Cup Series champion. Two-part question. Number one, the feeling of getting that opportunity for a championship, knowing everything's on the line in Phoenix.
Yeah, it's huge, right? But we got a job to do next week, and so we're going to enjoy this one for sure. Definitely got to enjoy this one because it's a huge win for us. But we got to get ready for Phoenix and the challenge of that.
Where are you going to put the grandfather clock? That's the big question. Where are you going to put your third Cup Martinsville grandfather clock?
I don't know. It's going to need some space carved out for it, but not quite sure. But we'll figure it out. We'll find some room.
All right, good peeps. William Byron punching his ticket to Phoenix with an opportunity after winning Sunday the Xfinity 500 here at the Martinsville Speedway. William, you the champ.
Thank you. Let's do it.
All right, that was Jermaine Farrell with the Xfinity 500 winner. Later in sports, Ryan Moy joins Jermaine as they break down the Xfinity 500 as William Byron and another driver clinch their spots in next week's Championship 4 in Phoenix.
Driver, start your
Good evening, race fans. Welcome to the Drafting the Circus program brought to you by Sinister One Productions. Keith, your thumb kind of disappeared there. Yeah,
I think he did it on purpose.
Oh, I tell you, the magic of the green screen. My name is Frank Santorowski. I'll be your host for the next hour as we talk about this past weekend in racing and preview next week. Joining me tonight in the studio, Jessica Chezrony. Jessica, how are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you, Frank?
Been doing very well. Richard Uden could not be with us tonight. He is stuck at the airport trying to pick up his wife, but her flight's been delayed. There's a lot of weather all up and down the East Coast. So, Richard, nothing I'd rather be doing than sitting in an airport. So, We have a special guest joining us tonight, Billy Morgan of Cusick Morgan Motorsports. Billy, how are you tonight?
I'm good, Frank. Just both of you, thanks for having me on. Very excited for this and looking forward to talking about some racing.
All right, fantastic. So before we get into chatting with Billy, we got to pay the bills here and thank our sponsors. So the eRacing Association, Jesse Iwuji and Emmit Smith, NASCAR on Fox, San Diego 2026, Sinister One Productions will be live at the PBR events in both Manchester, New Hampshire, and Boston, Massachusetts. And again, thanks to millionpodcast.com for bestowing our little show with some awards. So Billy, you're the co-owner now at Cusick Morgan Motorsports. Prior to that, you were working for Don as the team director, team principal. What prompted this move to kind of get you into ownership? How have your responsibilities changed? What it cost you? So just talk to us about the transition from employee to full partner.
Sure. Yeah. So I've worked with Don for a long time. I want to say since 2015 through a multitude of different businesses. We've always been together through different opportunities here and there. I was the VP of sales at his medical company that he owned when we left that. And then we started a beef jerky manufacturing company that we were there for about a cup of coffee and then exited that and really entered into the motorsport space. For the past couple of years, I've been I was just the salesperson for sponsorships for my first 3 years. We had a great team manager, Anders Krohn. He was fantastic. I'm sure many people watching tonight know Anders. I still talk to him quite a bit. What a great person to learn from he was. And, he went off to bigger and better things with businesses that he owned. And, Don and I started to discuss, basically what was the future of what we wanted to do in racing. As many of you know, we've been doing just the Indy 500 for the past 5 years. It would have been longer than that if there was an avenue for Don to get involved, but it was hard to figure out how to get involved in racing. And that's one of the things that we're trying to change. But for how this came about, going from Cusick Motorsports to Cusick Morgan Motorsports was, I don't want to say it was pretty quick, but it was something I thought was coming in maybe 2 to 3 years as Don wound down. But we had a discussion at, I want to say right around mid-year last year, a little bit just before the Indy 500, trying to plan for what was the future of us. And we decided, if we're going to do this, let's do it right. Let's make this a business, really expand and go from what we currently were to where we want to go now. And, I've put in a lot of sweat equity here. And I think that's one thing that I can contribute, Don giving me the reins to have a lot of crazy ideas of things that I want to do with this program. And, having him be supportive of that. It was right before Nashville, actually, he brought up, he said, I think I want to make the change of the team name to Cusick Morgan. And I was like, well, when do you want to do that? He goes, well, this weekend. I was like, well, Don, we can't do it this weekend. I'm already going out to Nashville for our first race, of IndyNXT. The first time we saw Davey drive our car in IndyNXT race. And I said, we've got to plan for this a little bit longer, make sure we do the branding the correct way, change a few things here and there. And then shortly after that, we made that change, and it's been a fantastic response that we've gotten from the community of race fans. INDYCAR has been fantastic, welcoming me with open arms into this role. And, Don has been the most supportive person, that I could have ever asked for. I mean, he has given me the reins to do really what I think we could do. And, he has to back me down a little bit. I have to back him down a little bit with some of our ideas. But, overall, just very exciting for what the future is going to hold.
So, Billy, is motorsports something you've been interested in your entire life? What kind of sparked your interest in motorsports?
That's a great question. To be perfectly honest, the very first time I was involved in motorsports is when I was in college. I went to Plymouth State University up in New Hampshire, and our fundraiser for our lacrosse team was that we had to park the cars in the parking lot. And as a freshman and sophomore, we were the ones always out there waving the flags. And then as juniors and seniors, we would only work the practice days, but then race day, the juniors and seniors got tickets to go actually into the race. Now, I'm not sure anyone was there to actually watch the race because not a lot of us were race fans. But I sort of had this itch of, wow, this is pretty damn exciting in NASCAR. And, once I left college, that sort of left. I never thought that I would end up in motorsports. It was something I've always had a, generic interest in because I'm just a big sports fan. And then what it really hit off was my first Indy 500, I want to say was in 2022. I went out just for a practice day and I was hooked. And at that point, I just sort of begged and pleaded, Don, how can I be involved? I want to do this. This is something I think that we could do really well. And, it's grown from there. And now, the future is extremely bright with where we're going and some of the plans we want to do.
All right, so let's talk about the future a little bit. You have announced IndyNXT, IndyNXT. I always want to call it NXT. I don't know. Don't ask me why. IndyNXT for 2026. You've got 2 drivers that you've signed. I'll let you go ahead and reveal the names of the drivers. I know it was made public over the last couple of weeks, but go ahead and talk to us about your team and those the 2 guys you have hired to drive those cars for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So IndyNXT is something that we're extremely excited about. I almost am more passionate about IndyNXT than anything else we're doing right now because there's such a large opportunity that we don't think a lot of people are taking advantage of, and it's something we see a large runway for business development, for new sponsors to get involved in racing, but then also to help create what we're trying to do as a racing business is create a ladder system from karting all the way up to IndyCar. And so last May, this is when Don and I started talking about, okay, what are the next steps? What do we want to do here? And we sat down, we met with Kirk Dooley and his assistant Shelby and talked about IndyNXT as a whole. What does it entail? What does it cost? What do things look like? How do we get involved if we wanted to dip our toes in here? And, he told us, the best thing to do is start talking to all the teams and go through, interview each team, find out which is going to be the best home for you. And go from there. Just see, is this something you want to venture into? And so our first meeting was with Mike Marini from HMD, and we sat there. We actually sat with him and Henry and talked about IndyNXT as a whole, what their program was like, and what their future looked like for their team. And fantastic meeting. We left Indianapolis thinking, okay, there's a possibility here. I went through. I met with I want to say all of the other teams, if I'm thinking correctly. And we, as Don and I circled back and sort of put together our program, we felt, HMD was going to be the right home. And it would just, with our business principles and, the devotion that they have in terms of getting involved in racing and the past champions of the IndyNXT program. And, everything is done right by that team. It really worked out well for us. And, I've worked closely now with Mike Marini for the past few months, probably since about June, July is when it really started to pick up. And, he is fantastic. One of the hardest working people in all of motorsports that I have ever met. He has been a great person to lean on as, Don and I really dive into this next program and, has been a great guiding light to help us out. And, we're really looking forward to this season. And, the hardest secret to keep was trying to pick our drivers. I mean, we interviewed countless number of drivers who wanted to come to our team, and we had certain qualifications that we want to do. We want to make sure that first and foremost, the drivers that we had were going to be good spokespeople for our brands that we bring on, for our team, for HMD, and then for all of our partners that come on board. We want to make sure that we have good people involved. And so we went through and we met a number of fantastic kids, and we finalized and we ended up signing Nicholas Stoddy, who is from the west coast of Australia. He's a 16-year-old. He's going to be the youngest driver in the entire field, which is, extremely exciting for us. I had a fantastic conversation with he and his dad this past weekend, or actually on Monday, I should say, out at IMS. And then in our lead seat is going to be Juan Manuel Correa. And I think his backstory speaks to itself. He is extremely bright. He's a fantastic race car driver. And he's also a great business person and spokesperson for, motorsports as a whole. He looks at motorsports as not just racing and going out there. He looks at it from a business side. He looks at it from a personal branding aspect. So being able to have him work with Nicholas and the other young drivers on our team spread throughout HMD, I think is just going to be fantastic. And, we feel that we're in a really good spot going into 2026 to have some, really exciting opportunities to hopefully be up there in the podiums.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm
Now,
pretty
Jessica,
sure.
Okay, I was going to introduce you, Jessica.
I just wanted to say, I'm pretty sure that you guys chose Nicholas just personally, just as an attack on me, just to make me feel like a failure. It's 16 years old. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is wild. I mean, just being 16 years old, he's extremely accomplished from winning, basically all over the world. And his dad was great. We were talking on a very human level this past week, and his dad does not have a motorsports background. He is invested in his child's future, and but the biggest thing that I found that was really fascinating is that his dad kept saying, education is most important. Without education, he cannot race. So they were at the test this week. They were going over to Italy to race, and then they're going back to Australia for him to finish school. And until school is done, they're going to continue traveling back and forth. And so I thought that was extremely cool. And, being a parent of a young child myself and one who now wants to get into racing, just seeing how they put their principles, in, what's most important in their order, I thought that was fascinating.
Yeah, that's really cool. You mentioned the test session at the IMS road course earlier this week. I know, we talked about it. I think the full IndyNXT field or close to it was there. A lot of drivers participating. What can you tell us about how the day went? What you guys learned? Seeing your drivers in your cars for the first time.
Yeah, so we learned a lot. Every time that our drivers were in the seats and working with their engineers and the staff, because both of our two drivers are still fairly new with HB. Nicholas is 100% new. JM had a few sessions last year that he had some familiarity there, but he has a new engineer with the team as well. And so, we learned a lot. And for us, it's most important getting them seat time as much as possible to get that comfortability. Each team was testing a new gearbox. And so one driver from each team, or one car, I should say, from each team was testing that. So got some data there to give back to X-Track and discuss there. But, for us as a whole, I don't think speed was the number one that we were concerned with, especially for Nicholas. It's just continue getting in that car as much as you can and be comfortable, because once St. Pete comes, it's, all bets are off. It's time to go. And, he was extremely happy. I spoke with Luke Varley, who is our team manager, and he was very thrilled with both drivers. And all around, everyone in the paddock seemed to really have a great day. All the cars kept clean. There was no issues out there on track. And it was a little cold in the morning, so the pause right off the bat for about a half hour until track temps got higher. But for the most part, I think it was just a really great day and a good day of knowledge. I mean, perfect weather. So, in fall in Indianapolis, it's always a crapshoot what you're going to get, but it could not have been better.
That's awesome. So when the 2026 IndyCar schedule was announced a few weeks back, we talked about it here on the program. Personally, I am stoked about the schedule. I think it's awesome. Obviously, it is a little bit different for IndyNXT. I know you guys have some double header weekends throughout the season. I wonder if you can sort of share your thoughts on the schedule. Are there any tracks that you'll be going to for the first time? What are you most excited to see? Is there anything that makes you a little nervous?
Yeah, so all of the above. I mean, I'm nervous about all of it because now being a co-owner of a team, especially with our drivers, I feel like those drivers are part of our family now. And so number one for me is you're competitive too. And so that's why I think we're in a fantastic spot with both drivers. I mean, Nicholas is going to be in this seat for a couple of years at least as he grows through the IndyNXT program, and we want to help him achieve his goals of ultimately getting an IndyCar. And JM, we feel that he is going to be very strong throughout the season, top to bottom. In terms of the schedule, yeah, really looking forward to it. I've never been to St. Pete. Actually, I haven't been to most of these tracks, and so for me, it's a whole new world. No pun intended. And so, going out to St. Pete, really looking forward to that. I think Arlington is going to be fantastic for the sport. Going around there and being around Cowboy Stadium and all of the pageantry that comes with that. I think anytime we can add new tracks, it's a great thing. And the one thing I am upset about is that IndyNXT is not going to be at Phoenix, but unfortunately it is what it is. But having IndyCar back there, another oval, I think is awesome. And as the summer goes along, I'm looking forward to going out to all of these places. And as it sits right now, I think I'll be at every single race, which I'm looking forward to, and continuing to help grow our brand, our team, and see what type of highs and levels we can reach all season long.
I love that.
All right, so Billy, now you guys run your team with HMD this year, right? With that partnership with HMD and the Indy 500 efforts, Dry Ryan Bold, I think Andretti one year. Do you kind of have designs in the future of becoming totally independent, having your own race shops and whatnot, or are you guys kind of comfortable the way you're handling business now because it's working for you rather well?
Yeah, great question. For now, the technical partnership with HMD, I think it could not be a better situation for us. That's something that we're going to really lean into, and so we can get our expertise from our side. Then also help them help them grow as a team as well. For IndyNXT, I think that's an absolutely perfect scenario for us, and I think we're going to be there for as long as they want to keep us. Now, in the IndyCar world, yeah, we have the ultimate goals of becoming an IndyCar team. We really do. Now, the charter system puts some cramps in that, is trying to navigate there. But, when 2028 comes around and the new car comes out, it's really all up in the air what's going to happen. I mean, we have desires to continue to grow our program from the bottom all the way to the top. Indy 500, we are normally a partner with a team, as you said. We've been with AJ Foyt, we've been with Andretti, we've been with DRR the past 3 years, all of which are great learning experiences for us and, have been fantastic partnerships. I can't say enough great things, especially about DRR. That team is full of consummate professionals, and seeing those guys who work all year long for one race, I mean, it's an amazing group to be a part of. And, this year we're still finalizing our 500 plans. But for the future, yeah, we want to grow. I mean, we aren't one. I mean, for anyone that knows Don well enough, and I'm cut from the same cloth, we don't really let the grass grow under our feet. We're always looking to do something new. And I was just talking to Kirk Dooley about this on Monday, is that, we're sort of here to be a force of change. We want to do things differently than everyone else because, when in any business, not just motorsports, anything, when things are going well, you start to get stuck in doing the same thing over and over again because it's worked previously. And we come in here with a fresh set of eyes when I do things differently, and we'll see how that ends up for us. But yeah, ultimately, yes, we want to grow and we want to continue to grow our brand and help elevate the sport as a whole.
Yeah, you guys, you are sort of a different template for a team, right? I'm interested to hear a little bit about, I know that you have some really unique partnerships and brands that are on board with you guys, and you're really invested in sort of the experience of getting those partners to the track and understanding what's going on. Can you talk a little bit about your sort of business development strategy and philosophy?
Absolutely. Yeah, that is really what we specialize in. It's between business development and, hosting at the events. I mean, we have a fantastic team from the top down. At Indy, we have myself and Don. Don is also very high level. He's not doing a lot of the hosting stuff, but he's fantastic with all of our partners, bringing them in, inviting fans into the garage. He's sort of like the mayor for our program. And so he's extremely accessible, as many of you fans know. And so that's something that will never die with him. He understands what it's like to be a fan of racing, and he wants to give that back. And that's what we're sort of building the pillars of our program on, is that we want to be the accessible team that's out there. We're not going to invite a sponsor in or a brand in and say, here's the menu of what it's going to cost to be on our car. No, we want to say, what's going to work for you? What are your goals in terms of a partnership? Let's make something that's customized, because our number one thing is that we don't want to just take someone's money, put their logo on a car and say, come to the race and enjoy yourself. No, we want them to really understand that there's true value in being a partner of a motorsports program, especially at the 500. Now, even in the IndyNXT, that I've noticed, there is such a large window of opportunity that is not being grabbed in that level, that I think is going to help open things up for us. And, when we're at Indy, we've got Rebecca Simon and Tim Neiman and my wife, Erica, who take care of all of our partners and sponsors. And so we are very hands-on with everyone. It's not show up at the track, here's your ticket and here's your sweet pass, go enjoy yourself. We are giving them the opportunity of 2-seat rides. We're giving the opportunity of being in the garage, getting FaceTime with the drivers and the team. Whatever is most important to them, that is what's going to drive, our direction, is where we're going to go. And so it gets a little bit hectic at times because we have different packages for different people. We have different requirements that they want to meet, but that's perfectly okay. We want to be that team that a brand can come to us and say, my goals are business development. I have to get so much business that, proves that this was worth it. Great. And that's one thing that we build ourselves on is bringing brands in, showing them at a very small level. Okay, this is what it could be. Now for year 2 and beyond, this is what we can get to and what we can achieve together. And so we're very big on B2B. That is, massive for us. We've had a lot of partners previously that have started as a small sponsor and really scaled up year over year just because we've created that B2B. And I think in motorsports, it's one of the most unique offerings that you can have because this is going to sound silly to say. I always tell our sponsors, when you come to the 500, the race is there, yes. But the most important thing that you're getting is the connection in terms of the suite or in the garage area or at the partner summit, because these are other business owners or other individuals who are here for the same reason. And it opens up such great organic conversation that may never happen unless they were here. And so we try to sell it on that. And the hardest part for me being the salesperson and bringing these brands in is helping someone understand what an IndyCar race is without them having been to one before. And the Indy 500 itself is fairly easy to sell because it's the largest one-day sporting event in the world. The magnitude of it is something that, it's hard to explain. But now when we look at going into a full season opportunity and telling these brands, you have clients and partners all over the US. Now here's what we can do because we are now week to week. We are on the grid. How can we help you grow in certain areas? And so, it's our philosophy is get as many new brands involved in the sport as possible, help them grow, and that's only going to help us and the sport grow as a whole.
Yeah, and Jessica and I can attest firsthand to the experiences offered as being a sponsor. We're both admins at Elite IndyCar, and we've had our name on your Indy 500 cars the past 2 years, and we've signed up this year to be full season associate sponsor with the IndyNXT. And you guys have just been so generous with getting hard cards and merchandise and cool stuff and track deals. And so you guys are doing everything right from that standpoint.
Yeah, I can't say enough good things about the members and the fans from Elite IndyCar. I mean, you guys are the reason why we do this. And it's the very loyal fan base that, sometimes get looked past by other teams looking for those $1 million sponsors. But, the reason we're so successful is because we want to give that opportunity to the fans that may never have that opportunity. And so that's why we try to build this. And, seeing kids come into the garage and being able to shake a driver's hand or meet Don. I mean, I'll never forget 3 years ago, I was talking to a gentleman outside of our garage and, Don and I were standing next to each other and he's talking to him. And then Don had walked away and I kept the conversation going with this gentleman. And he's like, one day I would really love to meet Don Cusick. And I was like, wait, you were just talking to Don. And I swear to God, this guy, it was like he saw, the light. It was incredible. And he's like, I cannot believe it. I would never thought that was a team owner. He was the most generous person with his time, with his conversation. And, that's what we are trying to do. We want to be that team to just have people get that experience. Because whenever someone comes to a race, it might be the only race they ever come to. And, I look at it that way. And I can't remember, someone in the NBA, I think it was last year, 2 years ago, they said, the reason that they play every game and don't take nights off is because that one fan who's in the crowd that came to see you play, it might be the only time they ever come to that game. And we go into every race weekend looking at that way is treat the fans the right way because they are the ones that keep the lights on with all of motorsports, and especially for us in IndyCar and now IndyNXT. We want to treat them right, get more people out to the track, be accessible as much as we can. And, the folks at Elite, from the admins all the way down through every single fan there have been awesome. We engage with your group as much as we can. We love having you guys around. And, the reason it's, like I said, that group is one of the large reasons we do what we do and try to continue our growth.
Yeah. And I mean, what an incredible just thing for us as fans to be able to say, right? Like I'll never forget the first time I saw the Elite IndyCar logo on the 500 car 2 years ago. It's like, I'm part of this. Like I'm part of being a sponsor on an Indy 500 car. Like how many fans get a chance to say that? And actually, funny story. I won a 2-seater ride from you guys several years back, just through Twitter, and got to meet Steph Wilson.
Yep.
Yeah.
This was 3 years ago, I believe. And I think I remember
so.
that.
Yeah.
I think did you come with your son? Was that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I remember that.
That's crazy. Yeah, absolutely. Very cool. Speaking of the kids, I know that you guys are really invested in sort of driver development and helping to support and develop young drivers from karting all the way up through the ladder up to IndyCar. Can you talk a little bit about what sort of efforts you guys are working on? I know you've got a program going out at Thermal. I think actually your son is involved with. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So this goes along with my past comment of, the grass doesn't grow underneath our feet. And, Don and I started speaking about, okay, what else can we do to help grow our brand? And we have On Track Performance, which is our business out at Thermal. And that is, we're the main dealer for a few different brands, from Ligier automobiles to Forge Line wheels, Stand 21 suits, Zamp karting suits, Tony Kart, all of this that we're developing. And Thermal is not used for what it should be. There's no other teams taking advantage of that. I mean, we're really the only race team who's based out of there. And so we look at that as a major opportunity for us. And there's a beautiful kart track there that sits fairly stagnant most times. And the Thermal Club, as many people have been to or seen on TV, it's an incredible place. It's something that we want to open up to develop business for us. And that's starting with our junior driver development program. And it's going to be under the On Track Performance umbrella with a partnership of Cusick Morgan Motorsports. It's something that we're going to start from karting age. I'd say my son, who's our first driver or development driver, he's 8 years old. He's going to be there in a kart. We want to then level this up into teenagers who are ready to get into open wheel, help them decide or help guide them into whether it be the USF series, whether it be in the Formula Regional series, and, really build the full ladder from karting all the way to IndyCar. And, in my mind, when Don and I spoke about this briefly, I figured, okay, we'll get through the first IndyNXT season. We'll build on this, and we'll maybe that's a year, 2 or 3 thing. No, we are starting this now. And so it's something that, said, we're going to go for it. There's no better time than now. Let's do it. And so we've been working on that. We're trying to develop that karting program to start. I'm going to be at SCUSA out here in Las Vegas in a few weeks to meet with the powers that be in the karting world. And so really try to help us develop this program so that we can get younger kids involved, families involved, sponsors involved, because, I think I'd be wrong to say that, sponsors who get involved at karting at this level, whether it be a sponsor of our program as a whole or as some of these kids, they're building brand recognition for life for these fans, whether it be that one driver who has a sponsor and they're going to be with them all the way up through IndyCar, or which direction they go. I mean, it's a whole other world that sponsors can open their eyes up to. That's, really no cost. I mean, there will be some, but very low barrier of entry, but starts to build that brand familiarity and, with fans, with their families and their parents. And, it opens up so many different opportunities as these brands grow. And, we just want to be very accessible from when families are young all the way up until they're ready to go to the big leagues of IndyNXT or, trying to work into F2 and F1. I mean, we're going to build all those pipelines to go both directions.
Well, sign me up in maybe about 5 or 6 years.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd love to see your little guy in a kart, wouldn't you?
I would. I was actually talking to I don't remember the guy's name, but he's with one of the big karting organizations, and he's based here in St. Louis. Ran into him at the 500 during one of the I think qualifying sessions, and was talking to him, and I said, okay, when can I do it? When can I put his butt in a cart? And he said, please wait until he's 5 years old. So
yeah.
Count
my
me
son
down.
Brady is he's 8 now, and we just started, I want to say about 3 months ago, doing K1 out here in Las Vegas, driving electric karts. He had never been in an actual race before, and I'm actually not sure he'd been in a go-kart. And we went for a birthday party one day. One of his friends had it there, and he was hooked. And he said, I want to try a race. So that next month, we went on a Tuesday night, went to a race. There's 12 drivers. He qualified 5th, finished 4th in his first ever race. And, every month we go back. And, now starting probably mid-November, we're going to be going out to Thermal. He's going to get fit for his Tony kart that we have out there. And The beauty part about having the IndyNXT program is that our drivers will come down and help these kids who are going to be in the ladder system. So I think in December, we're going to have Juan Manuel come out. He's going to do some coaching of Brady and any other kids that we have signed up by then. And, that's part of the program, is that we want to have young families get immersed with drivers who are in each level of the ladder, because then the parents can start talking to the drivers and, their managers, and sort of get intermixed and figure out what does this look like moving forward, and, help build that roadmap for their future.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And, me, who's been a, lifelong race fan for, many more years than I care to mention on the air. But, the drivers keep getting younger and younger because of these karting programs. They're just starting earlier. It used to be, back in the day, there weren't shifter cars and whatnot. You would generally start out in a Formula Ford or a Formula V, but you'd have to have a driver's license, unless you were Scott Dixon, who lied about his age when he was 13. But, yeah. So, but the drivers keep getting younger and younger. When I see you've got a 16-year-old guy in the IndyNXT series, and we've had, I think Max Verstappen wasn't quite 18 when he hit Formula One. So you see these guys younger and younger. Are there any concerns that, like, if you look at say Nicholas's record, right? He's done a ton of races. He's racing 2-3 different series, during the same year. But do you feel like maybe, going from Formula 4 regionals into IndyNXT is too big a jump, or do you think that's a natural step?
I guess it all depends per driver. Nicholas is wise beyond his years. I mean, when you meet him, he does not seem like a normal 16-year-old. I can tell you that. I just met him for the first time on Monday, and it quite shocked me, to be honest, that he's only 16. I would have guessed he was 17, 18, just based on, how he carries himself. And, with the skill set that he has, and then seeing him in the car on Monday and seeing him run mid-pack most of the day. And he touched top 10 at one point in terms of speed, and talking to him after each session, the comfort level that he feels in that car, and, looking at his past and now towards his future, I don't have any concern with him in there. And speaking with his dad, same thing. He said, he's 16 years old. We got this opportunity offered to us. Why would we not take it? Because maybe next year that opportunity is not there. And so the way we look at that is, if Nicholas is a 2 or 3 year program, we love that, because then we can help shape him, not only in his racing mind, but part of our program is based around mentorship and development of the driver, but also development of the person that's outside of the helmet and the race suit. Because I want to make sure that our drivers are associated with our team. If racing ends at some point, if the dollars run out, or, life happens, I want to make sure that we can help them become good business people or advance in some sort of world that is outside of motorsports. So that way, that way they are successful, whether it's motorsports or in business. And, that's a large pillar of our program is not just going out to win races, but it's also making sure that we can help set them up for the future after racing.
Yeah. I sort of hesitated to ask this, but I am interested to hear your thoughts. With Juan Manuel, I think a lot of folks will remember that catastrophic accident that he was involved in, and, really like life-threatening injuries. Have you spoken with him at all about that? And I wonder I've heard the word resilient thrown around about him a lot. And I wonder, do you sort of think that, the experiences that he went through and the recovery process that he's had to go through, how has that sort of shaped him as a driver?
Yeah. So I have not spoken to him specifically about that. It's something that, we've had a lot of conversation, just not really about motorsports as a whole, but just about, life in general a little bit, understanding who he is as a person, understanding what his background is and what his goals are for the future. That's where we have centralized that. And when I was with him on Monday in the trailer before they went to the drivers meeting, he has this aura to himself that is, he exudes confidence. He's a very bright young man. He is extremely respectful. He treats everyone the same. And it's something that I think is fantastic for the younger drivers, not only Nicholas, but younger drivers of HMD and even in the paddock can look up to and say, I could follow him because he is that type of person. In terms of his past, yeah, I mean, that you were right, catastrophic. And seeing what he has come back from, I mean, resilience is huge, and that's why we think he has such a fantastic story. And seeing what he's going to do this year, that we feel, and I think it's just going to build on that. And I think he's going to have a long, successful career as an IndyCar driver because I think he's going to have a great amount of success this year in our car. And we're going to do our best to help place him into a full-time seat when he's ready for that.
Well, I have recently just like randomly made the plan that I'm going to come to St. Pete. So I look forward to
I love it.
to cheering him and you guys on in your big debut.
Yes, St. Pete's going to be fun. I mean, like I said, I've never been down there, and I'd say I want to leave the cold winter weather, but Las Vegas, it's not too bad in the wintertime. But getting down to Florida, it'll be a little bit warmer than Vegas at that point. I'll be okay with it.
Yeah. So St. Pete's in March. May is the Indy 500. You've touched on it a little bit. What can you tell us about what plans maybe in the works for the Indy 500? Are you looking at fielding a car or two cars?
Or we can tell you what the rumors are. You can say yes, no, or none of your business.
I can tell you with 100% certainty, Cusick Morgan Motorsports will be involved in the Indy 500.
Great.
Yeah, and that's what I can tell you.
Okay.
I just know that it'll be exciting.
The rumor is McLaren, but yeah, even if that was the case, you probably couldn't tell me, huh?
I mean, I'll be perfectly honest. I've been so focused on this IndyNXT thing because Don has sort of let me run with this. That we've looked at every single program. We've had great conversations with all programs about what we're going to do, and there are, I would say, still at this point that every option's on the table. Nothing has been finalized. I can say that with 100% certainty because once it's finalized, I'm able to go out there and sell. And as of right now, I've not had the opportunity to go out there and sell anything for the 500 yet. So conversations are ongoing across the board. And I'll be honest, with every single team, we want to keep our options open, find out what's going to be the best opportunity for us, and where's a good spot for our partners as well, because this is our marquee event, as everyone knows. Where do we want to bring the supporters and sponsors that we have? Where do we want to bring them in terms of the hospitality and the ability to win the race? I mean, as we all know, any car that's in that race can win. Whether it's starting on pole or starting in 33rd, everyone has an opportunity. So we want to look at it as a whole, make the right choice for us. And then we'll go from there. But without any other rumor spreading or bashing, I can tell you Cusick Morgan Motorsports will be in the 500 at some level.
All right, and we look forward to it because you guys have had some pretty good results there. I mean, a couple of years ago, you had Stephen Wilson in the lead there towards the end of the race. We had Connor Daly get a top 10 there. Ryan Hunter-Reay looked to be in position to win the race until some mechanical gremlins ruined the day there. But yeah, you guys have been great. You're not hanging around at the back of the field. You're in there to race. You're in there to win it, and I like that a ton.
Always, and that's something that, because it's important for the sponsors that come on board and the partners, that they're spending a lot of money to be there and they want to have their brand represented well. And so that's why we take it very seriously as to who are we going to hitch our wagon to, and who's going to give us the best chance to win and the best opportunity to have just an overall fantastic experience out there. And that's what we look at. But yeah, last year was tough. I mean, I'll never forget, we were sitting in the RV, Don and I were speaking, and with Erica and Carolyn, and we're talking about potential, what are we going to do for Winner's Circle? And I'll never forget, Rebecca texted me, said, "Hey, this is getting real. We have to start thinking about this." And then Ryan came in that last pit, and unfortunately, the mechanical error, and that was the highest of highs to a very steep low pretty quick. But once you have that taste that you're almost there, it's what keeps driving us. And so, our motorsports experience has always been built around the 500. We will always be at the 500 amongst anything else, and we're looking forward to that as always.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah.
Jess, Billy, I have one more question for you.
One more. Yeah. Absolutely. The floor is yours, young lady.
And I have been holding on to this the whole time because you said something at the very beginning of this conversation that blew my mind. Were you guys the beef jerky brand that was associated with like Steph's car that year?
Yeah. Gnarly jerky was our brand. Yep.
I cannot tell you how many bags of beef jerky I had shipped to my house. And I was so sad when that little journey ended. That shit was good. So
it was good. That was a tough business though. I mean, very hard. When I ran the manufacturing facility out here in Las Vegas, I will give credit to the companies that do meat manufacturing, because there's a lot more that goes into it that you could ever know. I mean, just having the USDA sitting in your office the entire time and making sure everything's done right. That's why I feel confident anytime I see a USDA label, I know that things are done right, because I've lived that now. And so it was very tough. It was a good business. It was fun while it lasted, but yeah, Gnarly was a big sponsor of ours there. And but yeah, that was Don and his partner's brand there.
Well, RIP to Gnarly.
That's pretty
jerky.
cool. Yeah,
that shit was really good.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I always like to buy products that sponsor auto racing. I tried like heck to find Husky chocolate in the United States and never could come across that. So,
yep.
But even when I was a little kid, I was interested in who the sponsors were and what they did. Like, Cyril was running candy, right? It's old candy, but no, it turns out they make like washing machines and appliances. You know, and Parmalat was the milk. And I was proud that I knew all this crap. But I did not know that Gnarly beef jerky was your guys' venture. So that's pretty cool. All right.
That's my big takeaway from this conversation. Great conversation, Billy, but I'm thinking about the beef jerky. That's all.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Oh man, I used to All right. So we've got we'll spend the next 10 minutes or so going over the events of this past week in racing. There's some very significant stories out there regarding championships in the two major series. So, Billy, where can people find you on social media?
Yeah, so all of our channels, we're on, I guess I was about to say Twitter, but it's X. We're very active on Facebook. We are very active on Instagram as well. Cusick Motorsports on Facebook and Instagram, and then Cusick M Sports on X.
All right, certainly, yeah. So if you've not heard of these guys, go check them out. They're legit. They're again, Jessica and I can attest that we've never been treated better by a race team than like when we went to the sponsor summit at Indy. That was so much fun that year. So
yeah.
Awesome.
And
well, thank you guys.
The new branding is awesome. I got to say, I love the black and gold. I think, seeing it on the cars during the test was really cool. So just excited for you guys.
That was sort of a pinch me moment there. So yeah, looking forward. We've got our new website up now. Our store is not active yet. I'm still waiting on getting the merchandise. Eric is doing a great job in sourcing everything for that. So we will have new merchandise up there soon enough. I'm hoping we'll have orders be ready to place hopefully in time for Christmas, but it all depends on what we can get delivered and all of that. But yeah, keep an eye on CusickMotorsports.com. We're going to have all of that there, all of our social channels. We love to engage with the fans. And so anytime, and anyone who's watching, if you see me out at the track, please come up and say hello. I love to have a conversation. And I just look forward to seeing everyone out there at the track this season.
All right. Fantastic. All right. So speaking of at the track, NASCAR was in Martinsville this past weekend for their annual chili cold race in as the penultimate round of the championship, where we decide who the four guys are. The two guys that were locked in going in were Chase Briscoe and Denny Hamlin. So you had the other six guys fighting for two spots. And it was indeed William Byron who took the win and took the spot. But you got to feel bad for Ryan Blaney. Here's a guy who did
you have to, because you're a Blaney fan. So,
Okay. Blaney started 31st on the day, and through the course of the day worked himself into the lead until Billy says he needs to jump off. So, Keith, you need to put a break in, or all right, Billy. Have a good night, buddy. We appreciate you
guys.
coming on.
Thanks.
Again, really appreciate you having me on, and I would love to do the show anytime. So, I'm only a phone call away, and would love to do it. And just enjoyed your conversation. Thanks for always being a fan of Cusick Morgan Motorsports, and like I said, hope to see everyone out at the track, and we'll see you then.
All right, thanks again, Billy.
Thanks, guys.
All right, quick break, Keith, or no? Good to keep going. I can't hear Keith. But let's go ahead and go. So Ryan Blaney started 31st, worked his way up into the lead. Looked like he was going to be one of those Final Four for a while until William Byron kind of moved him out of the way. Blaney did end up second, but Blaney was in a must-win. Then the fourth guy to get in on points was Kyle Larson, who was a little bit ahead of Blaney in the points. So, so the guys going home are both Penske drivers, Blaney and Logano, Chase Elliott, one of the fan favorites, and some other guy, Christopher Bell. It's a
bummer.
Yeah, it's a bummer for Toyota. Had a pretty good day going on in Martinsville, but two different engine situations there. We had both Denny Hamlin and I think Chase Briscoe were in engine problems, which is not really encouraging going into Phoenix, and they can only hope that this is an isolated incident. But for the most part, for the full season, the Toyotas have it pretty bulletproof and won a lot of races. So I think going in, we still Toyotas really have nothing to worry about. So we've got two Toyotas, two Chevrolets, and Ford entirely locked out of the top four. Two Hendrick cars, two Joe Gibbs cars. Everybody else on the outside looking in, and headed to Phoenix for the finale. We'll crown a champion. Jess, who do you like?
Let's go back to my own standby. I like Kyle Larson.
Kyle Larson? Sure, yeah. So I'm kind of torn between wanting to see Ryan Briscoe. Not Ryan Briscoe. Ryan Briscoe retired from IndyCar a while ago.
A little bit ago, yeah.
Yeah. So Chase Briscoe, torn between Chase Briscoe and Denny Hamlin, because I'd like to see Denny Hamlin get that monkey off his back where he's never won a championship.
I did not realize that until we were talking about it. I think it was last week or a couple weeks ago on the show. I did not realize that he had never won a championship. That's crazy.
Yeah, because he's won everything else in the world. So
yeah.
But it would not hurt my feelings to see Denny take it. But as far as rooting for Denny to take it, I'll take Chase Briscoe. All right, fair. So that's where we're at with NASCAR. Another kind of news: Sam Mayer, who's in the Xfinity series, is suspended for the finale for a post-race hit on a cool-down lap. Something that's a big no-no, and I don't know if Mayer was one of the locked-in drivers in their championship or not, because I don't follow Xfinity that carefully. I didn't have time to look that up today. But either way, he won't be racing. Number of issues and suspensions came out of that Xfinity race in Martinsville. So that leads us to.
I feel like he had been involved in something else too. Like I can't remember exactly what it was, but I don't feel like this is the first time that I've heard his name associated with.
No, he had something early on in the season. Yeah.
Can't do that. Not great.
There's a couple of names that keep popping up when it comes to bad behavior. And Carson Hocevar is certainly one of them.
And what's that? Austin Hill?
Austin Hill. Yeah. So I'm not even sure how the Xfinity season is going. Last I heard, Connor Gillis was winning everything. I don't know if he's he's probably still in contention, but
I think so.
I guess I need to tune into Xfinity, but they're on they're on a TV channel I don't get currently. So,
well, how could you even know where they are? Everything moves around so much.
I know, I tell you, man, it's rough. So, but I do know that Formula One was in Mexico this past weekend. Your friend of mine, Pato Ward, was down there. Did the free practice.
Being mobbed as usual.
Delighted the crowd. I mean, they love Pato down there. I mean, they don't have Sergio Perez around anymore to root for until next year when he comes back in the Cadillac. But yeah, I mean, it's like, look, everything like the Beatles getting off the plane at JFK, the way people were just mobbing Pato there. So great for him. I'm sure that he loves that boost to his ego, but it really lends credence to the fact that IndyCar, why aren't we racing in Mexico?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, these people are here for the Formula One race, and they're totally enamored by Pato Ward. Yeah. Why aren't we racing down there? You know, we keep teasing it and talking about it, but it hadn't happened yet.
I think we'll get there. I do think that we will. You know, it seemed like, I don't know, a lot of excuses after the schedule came out this year about why it didn't happen, but I think we'll get there.
I think we will too eventually. I think we need to, you know. So, but in the race, Lando Norris led from pole. It was one of the craziest first laps I've ever seen. We had 3-4 guys go off the track, you know, and shortcut the track, get back in front of the leaders, had to relinquish the positions back because they shortcutted the track. And yeah, so Lando was pretty much unencumbered all day, but behind him, it was absolute chaos. You saw some really heated battles between like Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. I've never seen Verstappen off the track so many times in one race as we did in Mexico, you know, and then Leclerc and George Russell, right? And then we had Oliver Behrman in the Haas up there in the mix fighting for a podium. I mean, it was behind Norris. It was just absolute chaos, very fun to watch race coming out of Mexico. And behind all that melee, Oscar Piastri, you know, kind of languishing around between 5th and 6th place. Here's a guy who, you know, just several weeks ago, we were talking about how he rarely makes mistakes, how he goes in well prepared. Mm-hmm. But over the past several weeks, you know, he's just
lackluster.
Yeah, he's I mean, he's there, but he's I don't know, you know, I don't know if he's let the pressure of leading the championship get to him or outside forces, media and whatnot. But he doesn't seem as focused as Lando does. And the net result is that coming out of Mexico, Lando Norris is now leading the championship by 1 point.
How many races left?
Oh, Formula One goes to like Christmas. I think there's like 4 or 5 races left.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So they do. They have a long season. That's why we need to get a bunch of guests for the next couple of weeks in the show, because everyone else will be done, and we'll just have Formula One race to talk about.
Well, I'm working on one for you.
Yep, that's great. Yep, I'm working on one too. So I'm working on a couple actually. So yeah, so that's Formula One is in Brazil next after a week off, and then from there they'll be headed to Vegas, which is turned out to be a pretty fun race. If you can,
it's going to be in the middle of the damn night again, or
yep, be in the middle of the night again. So, but yeah, so that's where we're at with Formula One. IndyCar testing continues. I know you were following the IndyNXT testing.
Yeah.
But they were there's all kind of people said I think Penske was down at Sebring, and
yeah, and I believe there's a tire test at Phoenix next week as
early
well.
November. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think it's just a couple of drivers again though. And you know, I doubt there'll be any timing and scoring made available, but you know, it's a good opportunity, I think, to get IndyCars back on the track there after quite a while. So hopefully there'll be some media there that can report on how that goes. And what the drivers are able to learn.
Yeah, I'm sure Marshall Pruitt will be there.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
He'll give us the rundown. So I don't know. Anything else going on in the racing world? We got 4 minutes to kill.
Yes. Marco Andretti announced today his retirement from motorsports. Will not be participating in the Indy 500 again. That is after 20 starts in the Indy 500. So, bon voyage, I guess.
I don't know. Yeah, the thing about Marco is inherently I like Marco, but he's so maligned by the fans, because, well, he's not his father and he's not his grandfather, right? But he's still, in his own right, a pretty damn good race car driver.
Yeah.
The fact is the results haven't piled up like they have for, Grandpa and Daddy. Marco still has won 2 IndyCar races, which is 2 more than a lot of people have. There are people that have been in the series for a number of years and walked away with no wins. Marco has a pole at the 500. He has a near win at the 500 where he got snookered, on the last lap by Sam Hornish. And that's when Marco was a rookie, So, but I mean, he wants to focus on his business opportunities that he's got going on, and you gotta
and being a dad.
And being a dad, but you gotta appreciate the fact that he has, built something for himself outside of racing over all the years, much like Michael did. Michael's got like business empires,
Yeah.
Said Michael, he's free from racing now. He's on his yacht, right?
Just living life. Good for them.
He's got he's got grown kids and he's got young kids. Yeah. So
I mean, Marco has never been my favorite. But you got to respect at 20 starts in the Indy 500. That's crazy.
And he's got more top 3 finishes in Indy than his dad and his grandfather. So of course the Andrettis have always had the Andretti curse at the 500,
right,
as they like to call that. But it's odd that there won't be an Andretti in the Indy 500 for the first time since the split.
Yeah. Well, I think it's even longer. I think it's longer
2005 is what I read.
Oh.
Was the last time that.
Wow.
2005, because 2006 was Marco's rookie season.
Wow.
And 2004, Michael retired, but Michael came back and ran in 2006. So he can run along with his son. But Michael had retired. So 2005 was the last time with no Andretti in the race. Before that, it was probably like 1965.
60s, yeah.
Yeah, when Mario started. Mario was rookie in 65, I believe so. But again, Marco's career, not remarkable, but a face of the sport. And he's always been able to hustle and arrange sponsorship.
It is a shame for him that his pole at the 500 was in 2020. So didn't get the fan recognition for that one.
And
I'm sure he would have wanted.
His race was pretty. His car began misfiring right at the start, so he went from pole to back really quick. So All right. Well, that takes us to the end of the hour. So I want to thank you, Jessica. I want to thank you, Keith. Richard, hope you're holding up well at the airport. Lee, hope you're enjoying some bull riding. Oh, man, I want to thank the ERA, eRacing Association. I want to thank Billion Podcast. I want to thank NASCAR on Fox. Certainly, I want to thank Billy Morgan and Cusick Morgan Motorsports for coming on today. Again, if you haven't heard of these guys or watched them, they're the real deal. They're genuinely the most accommodating race team you'll ever meet if you're a fan. And I don't say that lightly. That's real.
Yeah.
All right.
I really appreciated hearing Billy say something that I've always felt about Don, just that, he is a race fan. He has been a race fan at heart forever. And, that's why he got into this. Right. And shoot, if I became independently wealthy, I would also just start throwing money at race teams. It's brilliant. But, he is a race fan. And so he is driven to help bring that experience to other race fans, and kind of pull the curtain back a little bit. So yeah, really appreciate them and everything that they've done. And yeah, really looking forward to the season and seeing what they can do.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you to Sinister One Productions, our fine producer, Keith Hayes. Thank you to Facebook Live, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and TikTok. Most of all, thank you to you fans that tune in and watch us tonight. I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. Until next week, good night.
Thanks for watching Drafting the Circuits. Make sure to follow Drafting the Circuits on Facebook, Spotify, Twitter, and YouTube. Drafting the Circuits is a Sinister One production.